On the road again to track the legendary time-traveling Dial of Destiny. Oh, 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 why do I keep straining myself these days? I'm too old for this. That would be like an 80-year-old Superman, Wonder Woman, or Batman. What next? Are they gonna make me do Indy 6 when I'm 100? Ah. I never thought this day would come. The day I would rant about an Indiana Jones movie. Harrison, what were you thinking? You should have retired from this role years ago. Hey guys, Harry Thomas here, and gets ready for my thoughts on the first and only bad Indiana Jones installment. So, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, or scratch that Dial of Disaster, because I predicted this would be a cinematic disaster just waiting to collapse on itself. So, Dial of Disaster tells the story taking place after the events of Crystal Skull, where it retcons that's a beautiful happy end where 80-year-old Indy, played once again by Harrison Ford, has now divorced Marion, and Mutzer has died in the war. And Indy's goddaughter, played by Phoebe Waller-Bridge, she brings him out of retirement to track down this time-traveling dial that her father was searching for. And they also needed to track it before a Nazi who works for NASA, Jordan Vuller, played by Mads Mikkelsen, Grindelwald himself, who wants to use the dial to travel back and kill Hitler. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was one too many. Uh, but I still don't think that movie is, well, as irredeemable as everybody says. The fourth film, like Toy Story 4, that they just about got away with and could have been far worse, but I wish I could say the same about Dial of Disaster. I mean, this movie was Harrison Ford wanted to do a fifth and final indie movie almost immediately after Crystal Skull because that's how much he adores this character, and of course Crystal Skull was the weakest received, so he wanted a finale to go out higher on. But the film was in production hell for goodness knows how many years, and Spielberg had was done with the franchise, so James Mangold steps in, and then the COVID pandemic pushed this movie back even further. So it took them 15 years after Kingdom of the Crystal Skull to make this movie. Holy shit! But it wasn't worth it in the long run, and this Indiana Jones 5 should not exist. Dial of Disaster sucks ass, and it is a true cinematic disaster. I'm sorry to those of you who wanted me to like this movie, but I simply can't call it good. Uh, no matter how uh, passionate Harrison was about it. I mean, Harrison, we love you, but this is by far the worst Indiana Jones movie. Yes, it's a downgrade from even Crystal Skull. Yes, I know Dial of Destiny defenders will disagree with me there, but I don't care. Each to their own. But I'm not going to go as far as calling this movie the literal death of Indiana Jones or the worst movie of 2023. No, the Disney live action remakes, Little Mermaid and Peter Pan and Wendy and Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey, are all worse. Dial of Disaster could have at least topped Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and at least taken more notes from the original trilogy uh, to show me that well, I underestimated it, but it doesn't. And this is the first and only indie movie to not be directed by Steven Spielberg, which is well, part of my problem. It goes to show Spielberg is the only director that can make Indiana Jones work, and James Mangold, uh, his direction disappoints me severely. This is hands down his weakest movie. To go from Logan to this is embarrassing, James, uh, and Harrison Ford. Glad you got your wish, man, and got to make Indiana Jones 5, but you might as well have called yourself Grandpa Jones at this point, because you are way too old for this role now. And my good friend and subscriber, Pajat's Perspective, also known as Ollie Pajat, he made a video about Harrison being ridiculously overaged to still be playing Indiana Jones at this point, and I 100% am with him. And I fully stood by Ollie and agrees that for years that this movie was not going to work. And because Harrison is now, AC, like, there's less action, and the action scenes are clearly a CGI double for him. It's ridiculous. And you would think that they would focus on, the emotional side of his character if they can't do a lot with him physically. But no, I mean, the fact that they divorced him and Marion and killed off Matza was just a course correction from Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which is disrespectful to what Spielberg wanted. I am not blaming Disney or Lucasfilm or James Mangold. This movie was Harrison's idea, but yeah, I'm at least they didn't kill off Marion. That's one good thing I could say. It is pleasant to see her again, as she was absent from the marketing, so I was so worried that they'd killed her off, but thankfully they hadn't. Still, retconning the beautiful ending of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was a terrible idea. And this is why action movie stars should be young, not old. Savor older actors for mentor-like characters. And Phoebe Waller-Bridge as his goddaughter, she is hands down the most boring female lead of the series. Phoebe, I'm a huge fan of what you did for the female characters in No Time to Die, but you could not work your magic the same way for Indiana Jones, I'm afraid. Like, I just never found myself rooting for her or caring about her as much as Marion or Willie or even Elsa. Heck, yes, I think Willie Scott is a better character than Phoebe Waller-Bridge here. There, I said it. Short round replacement guy. He was, like I said, just a short round replacement, and none of short round's charm, humor, or likability. And Salzar, John Rhys Davies' character, just cameos in one scene. Wow, a way to waste a iconic character just for a nostalgia moment. And when he's like, "Give 'em hell, Indiana Jones," I'm like, well, this movie sure is giving me hell. And Mads Mikkelsen as our villain, Jordan Voller. Indy is going up against Gallet freaking Grindelwald from Fantastic Beasts. You'd think Mads Mikkelsen would be the best Indiana Jones villain of them all, but he turns out to be more of the same. And this is Mads Mikkelsen's dullest performance I have ever seen. He was phoning it in just for the paycheck and was just like, "Oh, I've got to do a generic villain role again. Warner Brothers, please just greenlight Fantastic Beasts 4 and 5 already so he can be in them instead, a better use of his talent. And the fact that he wants to use the dial to kill Hitler, that just makes the villain the hero, because going back in time to kill Hitler's technically a good thing, not a bad thing, because it will save all those countless lives and in World War II. And the opening prologue, I do not get the praise for that prologue. It drags on for far too long. It's they dragged the hell out of it. And why did the fuck did they de-age Harrison Ford with CGI? Why did Disney constantly feel the need to do this with Star Wars, and like when they de-aged Carrie Fisher for Rogue One, or de-aged Mark Hamill for The Mandalorian season 2? It looks faker than the aliens in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I wish that Disney would take notes from Warner Brothers, like when they cast younger look-alike actors for the Wizarding World movies. Could have gotten a younger actor to play an Indy in the prologue for this movie. There was no excuse. Spielberg got a younger Indy for the prologue of Last Crusade, remember? Also, the film is way too long. This is the most boring of the 5 Indiana Jones movies, with a capital B, and that's due to Harrison's lack of ability to kick ass in the action. Uh, yeah, you might as well have just had this movie take place in Indy's retirement home the entire time. It trudges along as slowly as 80-year-old Indy with his walking cane. It's that slow. And Harrison returning as Han Solo for the Star Wars sequel trilogy worked way better, because they were able to give Han Solo an emotional character arc, with him wanting to get Kylo back for him and Leia before his death. And plus, the role of Han Solo doesn't require as much action stunts as Indiana Jones. As for the ending, I didn't care for it. It certainly did not give me the feels that I wanted. Especially as this is the last time we will ever see Indy on the big screen, and this ending didn't do diddly squat, so they played it safe and predictable. Like, Indy survives and goes back to Marion. Yes, so he doesn't die like some of us fans were predicting, but I honestly think they could have killed off Indy and taken a risk like they did with Bond in No Time to Die. Look at how much more powerful and effective that ending was, as divisive as it was. Also, the dial is the dullest artifact in the franchise, and a time travel machine. Are you kidding me? Did you not learn that sci-fi doesn't work for Indy in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull? And the Nazis for a further time? Uh, talk about lazy. And John Williams' score is one of the positives I can say, as it's wonderful to hear him come out of retirement after Rise of Skywalker, which I still defend Rise of Skywalker. Who agrees Rise of Skywalker is far superior to Dial of Disaster? Yeah, yeah, but even his score does not replicate what the magic of the score for the original trilogy, and you could see he was struggling to come up with new themes at this point and was recycling old tracks. I mean, uh, so yeah, overall, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Disaster shows that Indiana Jones going over 3 movies was a bad idea, and 5 is certainly going too far. I mean, it's just a dull, out of retirement story that ends the Indiana Jones legacy on a whimper instead of a bang. I give the Dial of Disaster 1 star out of 5. Fuck this movie. Whoa. Like, I, I mean, well, at least we can be reassured this time that this is the final Indiana Jones movie, and they're not going to milk it anymore. But let this be a lesson to future action franchises. Don't wait this long to make it to the fifth installment, and make sure you get it made before your actor uh, becomes too old. Well, I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this rant. And what are your thoughts on the Dial of Destiny? Are you with me and agree it is the worst Indiana Jones movie easily? Or did you enjoy it more than Crystal Skull? I know some do. Please comments and let me know. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please follow on Twitter and Instagram. And I'll see you all next time when I review Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken, which I am going to see this Wednesday with my good friend and subscriber Ollie Pajak, also known as Pajak's Perspective. So that should be terrific. And remember, movies are us. Bye, guys.